Alright, so I've been having trouble with my video recording. The sound is always muted, so I'm gonna have to get creative. So here we go. The company that I decided to do my research on is Gallagher Insurance Risk Management and Consulting. And taking a look at what I'm going to talk about, first I'm going to go over the company history, and then I'm going to do an analysis on the company culture, and I'm going to take a look at what makes it unique, and then I'll have some suggestions moving forward. Starting with the company history, it was founded by Arthur J. Gallagher in 1927 when he opened up an insurance agency in Chicago. This is Mr. Gallagher. And throughout the next several decades, it began to grow. In 1945, he hired his 3 sons, who helped to expand the company across the Midwest and began to branch out into the whole United States. And then it went international in 1970 when it opened up a branch in Bermuda. And since then, it's continued to grow both in location and in the services it offers. It started out by just offering property and casualty insurance for businesses, but now it offers benefits and domestic wholesale services and has branches for each of those. So it's deepened what it's offered. And today, Gallagher has over 400 international locations, and it's the 4th largest insurance broker in the world. Here you can see their locations across the world, and it has quite a strong presence. When I started doing my research on this company, it seemed like I started seeing Gallagher everywhere. They have special partnerships with the Chicago Cubs and the San Diego Padres, and they have special locations in each of their stadiums that I noticed since I started doing research on this. They also have an office right next to the San Diego Temple over in La Jolla, California. I noticed that because I got married this summer in the San Diego Temple, and I looked up and I saw this office, and I said, hey, wow, there's Gallagher. So it turns out it's a bigger company than I would have initially thought. And the company history goes a little bit deeper than that. So in the Salt Lake branch, it was actually opened originally as the Presidio Group in 1990, which was a small insurance company for local businesses in Midvale, Utah. And for those of you who have been to Topgolf, the office is right next to Topgolf. Right to the left, you can see it from the bays. And in 2017, Presidio Group was acquired by Gallagher. And although many or all of the employees remained with the Gallagher team when the acquisition happened, much of the culture from Presidio Group carried over into Gallagher. So while it still is Gallagher, it carries much of the culture from the old Presidio days. So this location of Gallagher is pretty unique. So moving forward, looking at the culture analysis, I'm going to take a look at it in 2 frames. First, the corporate culture as Gallagher of a whole, and secondarily, just the Salt Lake office, because it's pretty nuanced and unique in the regard that it used to be Presidio. So the first lens I'm going to look at is Gallagher as a whole. So one strong indicator of the culture of Gallagher is the Gallagher Way. This is a list of 25 values and attributes that all Gallagher employees are encouraged to remember in their everyday business. These are the core values that Gallagher holds dear, such as we choose to be a close company, we believe that we're all cogs of the same wheel and that we work together, we're an open society, core values that the executive team has put together that they want all 30,000 Gallagher employees to exemplify. This is common throughout all locations of Gallagher. Another tool that they have is called Gallagher BetterWorks. This is a tool that enhances organizational well-being for not only all their employees, but as an organization as a whole. And they look at overall well-being in 3 lenses. First, physical and emotional well-being. Second, financial well-being. And third, career well-being. And they believe that taking care of employees in each of these 3 categories will increase their overall organizational well-being as an individual. And if we can do that with each of the employees, then the company will begin to thrive. Then the organization as a whole will increase its well-being and will become a more valuable company and more profitable. So Gallagher is a strong proponent of taking care of your employees so that your employees can take care of the organization. And Gallagher BetterWorks is one of the prime tools that they use to improve organizational well-being and employee well-being. And as I mentioned, while corporate Gallagher has much influence over company culture, A lot of the culture that is present in the Salt Lake branch has come from the previous ownership of Presidio Group. And some things that I noticed were individual to the Salt Lake branch, but not necessarily part of the international Gallagher brand as a whole, it was a very relaxed feel. From what I gathered from my research is that most of Gallagher is very business professional. People show up to work in white shirts and ties and very professional, but the Salt Lake branch was a lot more relaxed. People were at work when I went to the office, they were at work in t-shirts and shorts, and it just seemed more relaxed than a lot of the other offices. At least that's what the employees have said, is that the Salt Lake branch is very relaxed in comparison to other branches. I noticed it's very client focused. There were very few employees in the office in the days that I went up and visited. Most of the salesmen were out meeting with their clients, meeting with prospects, building good relationships with them. So from what I understand, it's more important to Gallagher, or at least the Salt Lake branch, to have strong relationships with your clients than it is to have strong teamwork within the company. And that's not to say that they have bad relationships with their coworkers. It's just to say that they prioritize the relationships they hold with their clients over the relationships they hold with each other. It's also a very competitive branch, a very competitive culture. At Gallagher, when someone is hired in as a salesman, they are given a salary, and then they are given about 3 years to bring in more revenue than what they earn every year. They are told, if you don't make X number of dollars in 3 years, then you're not going to have a future with the company. And there is a lot of competition, not only with other insurance brokers, but also a little bit with each other, with the salesmen within the branch itself. They're competing with their competitors, but also kind of a friendly competition with each other to see who can sell more and who can bring in more revenue for the company. And if you can't bring in revenue for the company, then you're not going to be given many chances. If you don't produce, then you don't belong at Gallagher. And that's the feeling that I got from my research. There's also a lot of separation between the departments in the Salt Lake branch. They have a property and casualty team that deals with workers' compensation and in-office or in-workplace injuries. And they have a benefits team that helps their clients build good retirement plans and good health benefits for their employees. And I noticed that these two sides of the office hardly ever interact with each other. It seems as though they barely even know the people on the other side, which I thought was very interesting. They very much do their own thing. Each department works on their projects, and they have little interaction between the two. And overall, I'd say that Gallagher, or at least the Salt Lake branch of Gallagher, has a market culture in this spectrum. They're very result oriented. If you don't produce, then you don't belong there. They get the job done, they're very competitive, and they value achievements. They put a lot of pressure on their employees to achieve results. It's very outwardly focused on the clients, and it's very competitive and pretty structured in the way it's run. So for those reasons, I put it as a market culture. What makes Gallagher unique, from what I have gathered from my research, is that they pride themselves on being very transparent with their clients. They believe in open and honest communication with their clients, telling them exactly what they're getting for each dollar, because they believe that a client is not a one-time revenue source. Rather, if you maintain a good relationship with the client, that will be a consistent source of revenue for years to come. And for that reason, they want to do everything they can to make the client trust them. And transparent communication is key to that. They also provide insurance consulting rather than just providing insurance coverage. They sit down with each of their clients to help them craft together a good insurance plan that will benefit them not just now, but in years to come. And they also have a wide consideration for cost deductions and increased costs. Whereas most insurance brokers focus primarily on lowering the cost of insurance premiums, Gallagher takes a look at 6 different cost drivers that all funnel into the cost of premiums, and they use each of these drivers to not only lower the cost, but increase the coverage and help their clients be more aware of the whole story, the whole holistic approach of what goes into insurance. And I think Gallagher is a very well-run company, but there are a few suggestions that I have. First, I would improve the interaction between departments, between the property and casualty side and the benefits side. I would help them to collaborate with each other a little bit more. I think there's room for improvement here, and the benefits would be that they can cross-sell to their clients and help clients to not only work with Gallagher on one of the sides, one of the departments, but on both of them, so they can bring clients to each other and help each other out in that regard. I think that would really help, not only in that regard, but also to improve company morale within the Salt Lake office, because they would have more collaboration with more people, with the entire team, not just their specific department. I'd also try to involve more outside branches. It seems to me that Salt Lake kind of does its own thing and interacts pretty limitedly with other branches of Gallagher across the country and outside the United States. So if they had more interaction and more collaboration with outside offices, then they would be able to be more of one Gallagher rather than several different splinters of Gallagher. And they could reap the benefits of having a worldwide recognized brand, a worldwide company of Gallagher. And if we implement those things, I think we could take Gallagher to the next level and help it be even better than it already is. Thank you.